So your history with ADCC, I think a lot of people don't even realize because you weren't as well known then. But talk about your first time at ADCC.
Yeah, that wasn't good. That was a bit sad. I lost first round to Mesquita by armbar, which is ironic. And yeah, then the second time I was able to get that back, but I lost in the final then. So third time lucky is what I'm going for now. Hopefully I'll get the gold this time.
So the 2017 experience is going into it a little bit more. You were a brown belt and you won the European trials, right?
Yeah. And I competed as a brown belt at ADCC. And yeah, like I won the trials. I think I was a purple belt when I won trials. There's a few black belts in the division, but it wasn't as stacked as the European trials has become now. But I got in and I obviously had Bia first round. I was like the lowest seed. So I got her. She was the champion. And she armbarred me pretty quickly from close guard. And yeah, I was just like, okay, well, next time I need to armbar her. Like literally I was like thinking that after it. So I was able to get that back then, like 2 years later. Yeah.
So what's that like, what's the experience like for you coming in as an unknown trials winner and getting, basically a Hall of Famer first round?
I mean, it was that thing of like, I kind of knew that's what was going to happen. Like at the time, European trials was sort of considered the weakest one. So you get the number one seed. It made sense. But I was kind of like, oh, I don't even have a chance here. And I didn't think I was going to win at all. I was just sort of like, okay, well, it's nice to be here, which isn't the best attitude. Whereas obviously now things are different. But it was very intimidating. I'd not competed with girls of that level very much, especially being like, I was quite a new brown belt at the time. So it was very intimidating and like it's Bia Mesquita it's terrifying. I think she scares even seasoned black belts, let alone me. So yeah, I was just sort of like, well, I'm here for the experience and hopefully learn from this, which I did, but it was very, very scary.
So do you think, like you said, you lost to Bia early on, and I think a few other times, but then you came back and got that W. Do you think early on in your career that you were sort of psyching yourself out mentally against these people?
Yeah, like I just I had like massive imposter syndrome. I was just like, I shouldn't be here. I'd be in the bullpen just like, I shouldn't be here. Like, how am I here? It's like quite funny that I'm even here. Because there's just not many, like I was thinking that, yeah, I'm the first British black belt to win gi world. So like there's so few girls doing it from where I'm from and getting to that level. So it's just like, how is this even happening? It's quite like, it's just random. And I just feel like, oh, I must have gotten lucky. And that's why, like even winning the trials, I was like, oh, I got lucky. And no, I got through. So it was, it's very intimidating. And now I consider them peers. Like obviously I look up to these girls a lot and I respect them a lot. But at the time I put them on such a pedestal and just thought, oh, they're miles above me. Like I'll never be this level. Like it's just like, I'm honored to even just compete against them. Whereas now I'm like, no, like they're amazing, but like I can be just as good. But it took a while to come around to that.
Obviously you bounced back from that to reach that level, like you said. What did you take away from the experience in 2017 and how motivating was it for you for the future?
Yeah, like it was really motivating because I sort of, even though I got fucked up, can I say that? Can I say that?
Yeah.
Alright, go. Even though I got fucked up, I was kind of like, she didn't feel like impossibly good. I wasn't like, oh my god, this is so far out of reach. It was like, yeah, I got fucked up, but like she's a human being at the end of the day. And I was just like, okay, I need to train more. And I think, yeah, I moved then to Ireland not long after that. And that was like, I got to compete against those top girls more and more. And I started to realize that like a big part of it is just sort of believing in yourself and not feeling like you're out of your depth there. And at the end of the day, like that level is achievable, and just sort of going with it and just training hard and trying to catch up. Some people have been black belts longer than I've been training, which is insane. And so I'm just playing catch up there. But
2019, did you get invited or did you do the trials again?
I got invited, which I was like, yes. Yeah, I got invited because I did a few like super fights. I think I fought like Jazari and Talita, and I beat them both, and then I ended up getting invited then. So that was really cool. Yeah. I'd have done trials again, but I got the invite.
So 2019 ADCC in Anaheim. Let's talk about the tournament as a whole for you. 3 matches. Who did you have first round and how did it go?
I had Rikako. Am I saying it right? Yeah. Rikako? Yeah, Rikako. I had her first round. And that was good. I passed her guard, I got points. I don't think I finished her though. She was really good. And then it was Bia next, I think. I have a shit memory. Yeah, it was Bia,
Yeah, Bia in the semifinals. So at this point, you're going up against the girl who you had never beat her before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And obviously, she had beat you submitted you in your only ADCC appearance. What were you thinking going into that match?
Well, I was confident personally. Like I don't know. Everyone was sort of like, oh, like maybe fight for bronze kind of thing. Like everyone was quite, not everyone, but anyone I talked to was sort of like, oh, you've got Bia. I mean, it was kind of like you're out. They counted me out, and I could tell. Even like my coach at the time could see he was so nervous, which I understandably. But yeah, I just sort of like had that feeling that like, I'm gonna win, and yeah, like because like I don't know, I just feel like something that good is like that's a lot of pressure to like uphold that. Like obviously she's amazing, but I feel like that's a lot of pressure for some randomer to come through. And like I'm definitely good, so I was like that's like puts that unique pressure on her. Like I've got to protect this like like whole career that I have, and then I'm coming through and I have nothing to lose, so I'm gonna be able to go for it. We fought a bunch of times as well, so that dynamic is there too. And I was just sort of like, no, I feel like I really can beat her. Like she's amazing, but like I know it's still possible. And because she has that open style, but she's gonna fight me and she's gonna try and fuck me up. That's what's gonna make that opportunity come. Whereas the people who are very like who don't fight hard can kind of slow down the match and kind of keep the pace lower, and less opportunities come from that. So no, I really truly thought I was gonna win. Like I don't know, I always feel like I can win, even when I have so much proof otherwise. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna win. It's good. So yeah, and I practiced a lot against like closed guard and stuff, and studied it a lot. So yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna do it, and everyone's gonna be surprised. I love being the underdog as well. I love it when people are like, she's gonna lose, and I'm like, no, I'll prove you wrong. It's when people think I'm gonna win. That's when I fuck it up. People are like, Ffion can win, and I'm like, let me show you I can't.
The events of the match. What do you remember about how the match went down?
Everyone was like, don't go in closed guard, and I instantly went into closed guard, and I was like, cool, good stuff. And then I was there for a while. She was trying to attack, and I managed to escape. And then once I got out, then she sat up, and I went for the knee cut. I passed, and then she tried to like scoop my leg up, and then I caught her in the triangle from that. And then I had the armbar, pulling it in lots of different directions, and I was like, this is a bit mad, but okay. And I was like pulling it like straight, and I was like, okay, well, there's no more give here, like it's not going to go any further. So I started like changing the angle, and but like at the time you don't have like, it was just like you're calm and you're not really thinking about what's actually happening, which is like where after the match it was just like the relief of it being over, and I mean like, oh shit, like I actually just tapped Bia, who never gets tapped. So yeah, it was pretty surreal. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, when you're in that transition, you throw up the triangle, get the arm lock, or are you just thinking like, I got this opportunity, like this is being Mesquita, I gotta finish this thing?
I wasn't even thinking that. I was just like, okay, this way, like just like factually, or like just like, okay, this is the next step, what I would do if I was just in the training room, and just staying calm and like a clear head. I feel like when I start thinking like, I don't explain, like, like loud thoughts, like thoughts out loud in your head. That's when, like sometimes you'll be fighting and you'll be like, oh, I just want to give up. Like that'll be weird thoughts like that will come in your head. I think because of the nerves, those kind of like weird intrusive thoughts can come in. But like there's none of that. I was just sort of like, I didn't even think about who it was. I was like, this is just a person. This is just what I would do next in training. And then afterwards, that's when I was like, that's Bia. Training, like that's cool. And yeah, that's when you think about that stuff, but not at the time, because yeah.
So the ADCC crowd is very passionate, very loud. Like, what was the reaction like from the crowd, and how did it feel for you after getting the submission and everybody going wild there?
It was like the loudest thing I've ever heard. It was so cool. Like that's like the best moment of my whole career. Well, winning Worlds, but one of the biggest because of who it is, and like nothing. Me beating her doesn't take anything away from her. But like again, it's just still amazing. Like it's still the coolest thing ever. Like it's her. Like that's why it's special. It's because of who she is. So like all respect to her for that. But, yeah.
So then at that point you just had won. What was your biggest match of the career? But the tournament wasn't over. You still had the finals. What was that experience like? Was there an adrenaline dump backstage?
Yeah.
What did you do in between? What was the experience like between that and the final?
Yeah, like, so there's like the big adrenaline dump, but then you have to like wait for finals and stuff. And to be honest, I really did think I was going to win, but I was a bit more like, okay, I'll wait here, and like thinking more about points. Whereas when I fought Bia, I wasn't really thinking about points. I was thinking like just attack and try and submit her. So that was a strange experience, having that like the biggest high and then such a big low afterwards. It was really strange, and it kind of like ruined that moment for me, because even though I was delighted with it, it was like I didn't win afterwards. So and also I was injured. I couldn't even walk on my foot, like it was like busted up. So that was like a really weird experience of feeling so happy and then just so sad. Like I think that was the hardest I've ever taken a loss, probably, just because I think of that high beforehand.
So yeah, the match with Basilio, talk about what transpired in the match, and also I'd like to hear a little bit about like the injury that you got from the leg lock afterwards.
Yeah, like I tore my MCL. Like I think it was only like a grade 2, but like like my foot like fully like ruptured, like fully tore, and then it just like then I felt the pain in my knee more than anything. You know, like you can be like, oh, okay, foot, you can kind of leave a foot, like not ideal, but that's fine. And then, but when it was my knee, I was like, that is so painful. She's got such good foot locks. And yeah, like so I had to like not train for a few weeks after. It wasn't too bad, because like at the end of the day, personally, I don't want to fuck my shit up. I want to be able to do this for a long time, and I know it's going to take me a while to recover from that. So like I tapped, and well, I think I screamed. So I been tapped, I was like, ah! And then I was obviously so sad afterwards, and I was like limping around, and I had to get the flight home on my own. Like I had a suitcase, and I was like trying to wheel it while hopping around. It was pretty shit. But yeah, like so that took a while to recover, and then obviously like, you know, it's just sad. It was more sad than injured, to be honest, but what can you do? It happens.
I imagine you've had plenty of time, probably thought about this a lot. What do you think you should have done differently in that final?
Well, I shouldn't have been like playing around with leg locks. I don't know what I was doing, why I was going to 50-50, and like playing in her game is so good from there. So even just going in there was stupid. I should have just like committed to like going for passing and just keeping my legs back and not even engaging in it. Whereas I was thinking more about like, okay, like the clock, run down the clock, and then look to get the passing points. But yeah, I shouldn't have even entertained the leg locks. I was really stupid. But yeah.